Welcome to another episode of Just Go Kitesurfing. It's been such a long time that I last created some content that I actually missed it. So what happened? My second daughter was born, I started a full-time job, and I'm now recovering from an ACL surgery. It's been 3 months that I was operated, so I'm already working very hard. So hopefully I will be back in the water approximately around July. It didn't happen through kitesurfing. It was an old ski injury, but considering its implications on kitesurfing, I decided to fix it before I turn almost 40. A lot of friends and kite surfers have been asking me tips about CapeTown. Considering that last year was my second time in CapeTown, in this video I'm going to share a couple more tips, tricks about accommodation, foods, restaurants, excursions, and we're definitely going to see some kitesurfing actions from Blouberg, Platform Beach, Misty Cliffs. Stay tuned. The Uber service in this country is exceptional. Mohammed complained that it was a little bit windy yesterday. Firstly, you have the beachfront options. Great sunset, you can just walk to the Kite Beach, the Blouberg Kite Beach. And you have the second and the third row accommodation, but again, you can still walk and go to the beach by foot. We stayed a little bit higher up the hill because it was a gated community and there was a swimming pool, so it was much easier to do things during the day with our daughter and play outside. Considering that there's not a lot of open parks. So if you have a swimming pool for these warm days without wind, it's an excellent plus. Regarding bars and restaurants, I would split the whole area into 3 sections. The first one is Blouberg, where you have the roundabout and you have a lot of options there. Then you have Big Bay, which was our favorite one, considering that you can park the car and walk, and there is actually an area where no cars allowed. There's a small park. So for us traveling with a kid, this was the preferred choice to go. Great view, great food options, just a beautiful destination here in Big Bay. You can always go to CapeTown, it takes 20-30 minutes depending on the traffic, and there you're going to find a lot of options, especially around Greenpoint. In Blouberg you also have a lot of big malls. We would go there frequently because it's safe and you have a lot of options for food and some things to do with your kids. These are one of the most popular places to eat. Catch 22, Tiger's Milk. We are going for breakfast to a super cool place. I'm gonna put the link in the description. Especially good if you're coming with kids because there is a playground outside. Now, one of the things that you definitely have to see is the Old Biscuit Mill. See, full of stores, food options. It's a very cool place to visit. If you rent a car and travel by car, which is highly recommended, there are so many cool places that you can visit. Firstly, there's a lot of speed cameras, so as long as you're mindful with the speed limits, you're gonna be just fine. Secondly, only park on the designated wide parking strips. And the weirdest reason that I was fined is that I parked on the other side of the street where my car was facing, basically the opposite side of the other cars. It were all small fines, but it's always better not to be fined at all, right? We've visited so many beautiful places at this trip. Some of them were for the second time, like Pearl or Platform Beach, but other places like Big Bay, Chapman's Peak and Hout Bay, that was the first time that we've seen these beautiful destinations. My favorite place from this trip was Chapman's Peak, driving through the scenic road, ending up in this magnificent viewpoint, and from there driving down to Hout Bay where we had delicious seafood. I mean, how much better can life get? A very important piece of advice: when you come here, make sure that it's not windy, otherwise it's freaking cold, and of course the water is super cold. So you're gonna see that most of the people are relaxing at the beach, but nobody's really swimming. There's also the waves and the swell, not really for swimming. out there, you definitely have to visit the fish on the rocks. Really good. Excellent. We also visited Robben Island, or else Prison Island. What made it special is that the tour guides were actually ex-prisoners of Robben Island, so this made the experience way more personal. It's a part of history, so I would highly recommend it. We had another valuable lesson in this trip in Cape Town. 2 of our 3 cars got stolen on a sunset session. Our cars got stolen and we're waiting for some help. Everything was recovered, but again, like the fact of not having your car after you finish a sunset session, it was quite a heartbreaking experience. What I learned from my first trip in Cape Town was not to waste so much energy going pointlessly up and down in the water trying to find the perfect kicker. I would first observe my surroundings, and when I would find the right space for a takeoff, then I would accelerate and try to do my best possible jump. It wasn't always perfect, and I had the moments where I was way too close from other riders, but this is how you learn, so just be mindful about the surrounding. You know, keep in mind that you might travel much further than you anticipated, the wind is uplifting, it's strong, and the kite loops are freaking sick. In this trip, I was able to visit the Sharks Bay, Langebaan twice. We had very sick sessions, strong winds, a bit gusty and a bit choppy, but nevertheless, it's a beautiful place. I would highly recommend it. Hey baby, for your birthday, I brought you to Langebaan so that I can kite, eh? What a sweet husband am I.
You are.
Happy birthday, my love.
Thank you.
Stellaras in South Africa. If you get strong winds, like today, for example 25 plus knots, it can get very choppy. But behind the rocks, it was a bit better. One of the wisest decisions that I took in this trip in Cape Town was to pre-book my physio sessions in advance. I had 1 or 2 maintenance sessions every week. It was a combination of sport massage, relaxed massage, and some back and neck adjustments. It was incredibly helpful for me, especially if you're kiting 4 or 5 times a week. I'm almost turning 40, so for me, this made a huge difference. I couldn't recommend it enough. Are you ready for Misty Cliffs?
I'm ready.
One of my most humbling experiences from this trip was crashing from 18-19 meters. I redirected my kite pointing downwards instead of flying it correctly because I got over-rotated in the air. That means that I accelerated my fall, crashed very hard and hurt my ribs and pierced my eardrum. I was wearing surfer ears, so that didn't help much. I was extremely lucky that this happened on the last day, on my last hour of kitesurfing in Cape Town, so the only thing that was effectively hurt was my pride. Thankfully, I didn't miss anything from the trip. Last day of the year after a 6 session, and we are preparing a traditional braai. Fire is almost ready. The beautiful colors of South Africa.
Έχει lamp.
A medium rare steak from my husband.
Very good, very good.
Physio! Ena!
If you like this content, don't forget that like and subscribe button. Hopefully more content to come in July when I'm gonna be able to go back in the water. Until then, keep shredding and see you on the next one, guys.